which was so wonderfully awkward. But she has, like, both of us just like, so now what? And, like, we're just hanging out alone together, and it was so great.
She is wonderful, and she's like this beautiful little girl, and I think she's blinked like a dozen times in her life. So she's perfectly cast for Diana.
I asked her, I was like, so what grade are you going to? She's like, 7. And I thought she said 2nd grade, and I totally accepted it.
So did I.
Yeah,
Like 2nd.
Katie.
Oh yeah, because she's tiny.
She's a
really
tiny little one.
What was that?
Oh no.
Diana heard us.
We're so sorry. We're so sorry.
Don't ever mention her name.
I think we can do it,
Is
guys.
this real or no? No. Can somebody go check, please? Please go check if we gotta clear this room.
The exits are located in the back and to the sides.
Every wall except for this one.
That's exactly right. Is an exit.
I knew we were going to
This
go on
is
like
interesting.
this.
I can do that for you.
Grimcast.
It is not a real one. Okay, we got it. Good. Yay!
False alarm. Wow, thank you.
So yeah, Diana and the NSA have found us. We're all in trouble.
That
All
was
right.
wild.
Speak her name.
There is Black Claw in Atlanta. Oh, crap. Okay, here we go.
I'm so glad we didn't have to evacuate. That would have really put a damper on this thing.
That would've been so bad.
That totally could have happened. All right.
Okay, here we go. Next question.
Two very quick things. First of all, Caprica, I loved your portrayal of Brain Dead. Anyways, it was awesome that you could just be like a thug and a mafia guy and still be gay, and it was just like normal. That was like awesome. It wasn't like they went another way to like make him non-offensive. Like, dude, I'm a mafia guy and I have a husband.
Yeah, no.
And a
this
whole
is-
lot of tattoos.
It was a lot
I mean,
of fun. Yeah.
how did they do all that tattoo work? I mean, how long did that
They
take?
stenciled it. Took like 3 hours or so. Yeah.
Here's the question.
Now the question is they did the zombie thing with the New Orleans and the thing, and then they never dealt with it except every once in a while Nick goes gray. Are they ever going to deal with the fact that Nick is technically dead?
Yeah.
You know,
It's been a long series. Yeah, a lot of paths leading, some lead to things. I do want to point out, there is one other holdover from the zombie storyline. Somehow, Nick received superhuman hearing in the course of that, which we still do use. And I know the cast has heard this many times. It is one of the great ironies of network television. We often zoom in on my ear, so I'm hearing something, and I'm like, oh, someone's coming. My ear is 100% in real life deaf. As deaf as this cup of Starbucks coffee. I hear nothing. So that's something they wrote for us.
One of his ears.
One of his
ears.
Just one of them. This one can't hear Jack Poo Poo. This hears quite nicely.
I usually sit to his left when we go out to dinner parties for a reason.
There you go.
There we go. Here's our next question.
Okay, I'm Mr. Royce. You speak a bit of French on the show, right? And
do,
I'm sorry, Miss Juliet. I'm blanking to tell your real last name. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
You also speak Spanish. Et hablo español bastante bien. Y je parle un tout petit peu de français.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just wondering. I assume you guys speak those in real life because you're comfort with them on the show. If not, you did a good job. And also, did you bring any of you bring any other interests from your own life into the characters on the show?
Well, and Reggie also speaks Tagalog, which he got to speak in the Aswang episode.
No.
Yeah.
I speak French. I told our producers, David and Jim, and actually during the pilot, because they wanted Renard to speak with a British accent, and I really felt like he didn't need it. And I said, the accent, I wonder if you guys are really married to that. And, but I do speak these other languages if you ever want to use them. And they did. They used, French quite a bit and Russian a little bit. The German, I faked. But,
I think the first episode Juliet spoke Spanish was La Llorona, and they said, because Juliet doesn't really seem to have a family, and they had said something about how they knew my mom's side of the family is Spanish, and so in that episode they refer to Juliet having had a grandmother who was Spanish or spoke Spanish, so they kind of tied that in. And then
what other abilities did they incorporate have they incorporated some
God, they asked me what I could do, and I said I can make the wave with my stomach. And they haven't incorporated that yet.
Well, and Sasha, yesterday,
TVMA laws.
yeah, and Sasha, yesterday you told us you canoe.
Yeah, they still haven't utilized the canoeing, which is a real shame. I don't know what other skills of ours they
Well, like,
utilize.
Silas is Monroe.
Silas is Monroe.
Yeah.
Miles is 90% Monroe.
Um,
Oh yeah, definitely. What do you guys think he's doing right now, Cass?
He's knitting a cardigan.
reading.
There you go.
Smoking a pipe. He's smoking a pipe.
I had to deliver something to his house the other day. He was packing a tobacco pipe on his porch, had another tobacco pipe he was smoking, and had a transistor radio in his hand.
Sorry.
We were laughing last night because at one point Silas and I had a conversation, and then he turns to me and goes, you know that show on AM radio? And I said, stop right there. I don't know that show. I don't know how to get AM radio. I didn't even know it still existed. You know that show? Okay.
Awesome, great question. Here we go, next one.
Hey guys, I've been to several panels over the last 20 years, and occasionally a show will say, I dress up because I want to enjoy the convention like you guys do. Has that thought occurred to you to go unrecognizable?
Oh, hats, hello.
Yeah, full on Wookiees. One of you said Stormtrooper also, you wanted to try that, but, you know. Does anybody want to go and do that? Work with somebody? You're good.
I kind of wanted to go as Woo. I actually wasn't at Comic-Con, and so I wanted to go as a guest and dress as Woo and ask a question in the panel.
Can you do a woo walk?
You want to deliver a file? Sure. Deliver a file to the desk. You'll hear the cue. Well, there it is. There it is.
I love the bobblehead quality.
He does. And he's like too aloof to make eye contact often, so he's just like looking up. I'll deal with these guys.
Another weird case I gotta give to Hank. Hank and Nick. Okay, here we go. Next question.
You are all excessively charming, and you're very pretty. This is a comment leading into another question about Silas Mitchell. A couple of years ago, he was here, and I was absolutely floored by how well they ugly him up on the show.
Yeah, he's a handsome cat.
In real life, and please take him back to him from a very loyal fan. Yeah, very quick. He's a very, very handsome man. Any other quirks, however, about him? Because he honestly is kind of...
We could spend all day.
I mean,
Well, we said about
he
the
is held to bed. Yeah, he's barely held together. He's just a ton of quirks.
I really enjoy that he reads a
Nonstop.
lot, nonstop, always with a pen, circling stuff, and he'll often read books from a time period. So like if he's reading nonfiction from like 1880s England, he'll just be there and he'll read like 4 books in a row of that period, so he fully understands it. He's just a brilliant
Very,
encyclopedia.
very, very
Wait,
intelligent.
tell them what Silas said to you when he showed up to Bree's barbecue and he was actually dressed like a normal person.
Oh, that's the story.
He said to you, he was like,
So yeah, he dresses sometimes. He's just got his own way. He's a brilliant. I mean, he's dear to all of our hearts, and he's a brilliantly smart guy and funny guy. And everything. He said he's like, David, I know that I'm a little other than. And I told him because he showed up to Bree's barbecue wearing like an Adidas sweatshirt and like sneakers. I'm like, dude, you like dressed just like a guy. Anyway.
Because the other day he was sitting, I think, outside of like on set, and he had this beard, and he was, I don't know, he wasn't whittling anything, but for some reason it felt like he should be.
Yeah, it feels like it's whittling something like
He
that.
was stuffing his pipe, and had this book, and he had his beard, and he had this little neckerchief and his hat, and I was like, the transformation into Walt Whitman is complete. He's so unique, and I love him so much.
And he's very incredibly detail oriented. I remember we were playing. You guys know cornhole out here? It's big in the Midwest. We were all at this the Cowps bring us out to their Montana ranch every year. It's brilliant, and the whole cast goes, and it's a wonderful bonding experience. And we're all playing cornhole, and Silas is kind of tentatively watching from his Adirondack chair. And then suddenly, on the third day, he joins in. Were you with us at this point?
Yeah,
he just joins. And he is a stickler for these rules that he is a little bit made up. He's like, no, you have to do that. I'm like, no, you've never played before. And he was brilliant at the game, just from watching and studying.
Sat there for hours, got all of the way we play, and then just
And read a book about it.
He really did whoop us.
Here's our next question.
First off, I was not traumatized.
You had a great photo.
A little bit you were.
I was great. No, I felt you guys energized.
It was energy. It was
Yeah,
energy,
yeah,
yeah.
energy. I wanted to
It was like when Uma Thurman took that shot of adrenaline to her heart in Pulp Fiction.
But my question is, if there was an episode where, you guys could pick as actors, where your brains got switched, or
Oh my God.
which of the other characters would you choose to play?
I mean, did you see that woo walk?
I think we've got that one taken care of.
I think there's actually an episode exactly like that coming up.
There is.
Really?
There is an episode coming up like that.
No spoilers, but
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like on the nose. Minus the whole brain thing, but personality thing.
Episode 3, season 6.
Episode 3, we're all DVRing it. Yay. Okay.
Okay, so my quick question is, I have mentioned to friends about the show and tried to explain it to them. It's a very unusual premise, a very oddball type of show. Is it procedural? Is it horror? What is it? So I was just curious. When you guys went into the audition process or you were talked to about it, how did they pitch the show to you? How did they explain the concept of the show to you guys?
Kind of like 2.5 Men, but with a, no.
Yeah, there was another fairy tale show coming out that year. They were very big on us saying the difference is the fairy tales are real. It's one world. Didn't really make a difference. They were describing it that way. They didn't pitch it to us. They're like, here's a job you want. We're like, yep. We'll take it. That's the pitch. We're actors. Whatever you guys want.
I always find it so flattering when people ask, so how did you decide on this job?
Yeah, we were discerning.
Well, I was unemployed. And the script showed up, and I wanted it. Desperately. I don't remember being.
Procedurals based within the world of
I
fairy
think it took
tales.
me.
Yeah.
It took us a year
Yeah.
to figure out exactly how to phrase it. I still don't know how to phrase it. Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, when you're calling your parents, you're calling your significant other and going, I got the job and it's called GRIMM, and it's...
They stopped hearing after the word job. They passed out with happiness. Blacked out.
I understand that.
Hello, David, this is for you. Twitter and eggs.
Yeah. The egg is a delicious treat. I don't know what else to say.
He had eggs this morning.
I did have eggs this morning. For those of you who don't know, I got into a very deep rut of tweeting about eggs. I gotta say, it's just a well-balanced nugget of protein, and it's a delicious treat. You should have eggs today if you haven't. Over medium is how I choose my eggs.
I was about to say, what is your favorite way? Over medium. Okay, good to know.
Can you
Hi,
get a
guys.
sponsorship from the egg law?
Kevin Bacon has already shored that up, unfortunately. I've looked into it. I've looked into it.
Hi, I'm David Gisoli. You like eggs?
Gives you a nice shiny coat.
Hi guys, I am from from Germany. So I was wondering if you guys actually have a German translator, because some of the words I didn't actually understand, so I had to Google them. Like Messen is actually Wesen, so I was wondering if you have somebody on set who actually kind of shows you, teaches you how to pronounce German words.
No.
I remember season 1, Bree and I the two of us kept getting these like really aggressive tweets from somebody in Germany about how we were pronouncing Wesen wrong, and we were like, why us? Why us? And they were like, it's Wesen. You know, doing it all phonetically. We have a woman, Mary Mack, who's our dialect coach. I don't know that she comes up with the words. That would be Jim and David.
No, Jim and David, I think, are sort of like a hybrid. They'll take the German words and they'll kind of fuse them together to get whatever, meaning that they want to get across. But we have like 3 different variations of pronunciations. David, you used to talk about that too.
Yeah, there's every episode, we have a very, we have a dialect email that we get every episode. And they'll give you the words in German pronunciation, in American pronunciation, and just because I have bastardized all of those, they now have thrown in, and Grimmish.
And it's an actual
Thank you
thing.
very
There's a
much.
Grimmish pronunciation, which I think we kind of more or less use.
Yeah, exactly.
Are our voices dubbed internationally?
I believe so. I think.
Because I used to get tweets from Germany because apparently, like, Wu's sarcasm doesn't translate in German.
I don't think German has sarcasm.
What a dick!
I can see that being a problem. The following is sarcasm. It is a joke. I will now proceed with the joke. I am rolling my eyes with sarcasm.
Do they need them kind of like what we do on Twitter, in sarcasm, the end sign sarcasm on when they translate Wu's thing? Start sarcasm, end sarcasm around your words. Do that? Very cool. Here's a quick question.
This is for David and Bitsy. Early on you two were a love interest, and then obviously Adeline became Nick's love interest.
Yeah.
Now, is it awkward for Bitsy when David and Adeline are together?
Want to feel this one, Bits?
Bitsy's going with it.
Somebody asked me this question during the autographs yesterday, and I would say it's not awkward for me, but the part of me that played Juliet for 4 years, it's awkward for her.
The acting in general.
I know it's awkward for Claire and David, so...
Yes, I'm like good friends with her husband, and we fake kiss. We feel like brother and sister, and then you have to go fake kiss each other, and it's just a whole. She should get a pay bump.
We had so many awkward.
Oh my God! There was
That's
one
the
time.
least of them.
One time, Sasha and I both had to just jump in, make out with Bitsy. This is predating her. Either way, it was awkward. It's like, okay, Sasha, get in there. You're kissing. Okay, cut. David, jump in. Now you're kissing her. I'm like, should we Sasha and I just go for it now?
They might as well have been making out.
It was basically me
And now I know why your name is Trouble, because you're like...
Bitsy. But it was that scene where like she's kissing Renard or she's kissing Nick and she sees Renard all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that's how we had to do it. Like Bitsy had to hold her head, and then I'd move out of the way.
And his like mouth is still red. And I'm like, let's do this.
So yeah,
there's a lot of fan fiction born from that scene.
Next question.
Due to my polite Southern upbringing, I feel the need to ask each one of you what's the correct pronunciation of your last name, and also wondered if Bitsy was your real name or was it a nickname?
My first name is Elizabeth, and you guys will actually start seeing that in season 6 billing, because when I turned 35, I thought I might need to start using my grown-up name. But Bitsy was my grandfather, who was a bomber pilot in World War II in the Korean War. It was his childhood nickname. And he and I were really close before he passed away. And since I was, toddling around, I was always attached to him. And so people started calling me Bitsy, but it's not, it's just a coincidence that, you know, it could be a nickname for Elizabeth and it's not.
I always like to say she grew into the size of her first name. Much like a koi fish in a pond. If it was like Bubba Tulloch, she'd be like 6'8".
My last name is pronounced Tulloch, unless you were in Scotland, and I believe it would be like Tulloch.
I am, so we don't pronounce our name the right way in my family. We say it's Gintoli. Oh God. So, yeah, this is, I need to say the story, sorry.
Do it.
So, when I was growing up, Gintoli, I didn't know any other Gintolis. There's just not a lot of them around in Wisconsin or anywhere really. And so I was told it was a very special name. And I also was told when I was a little kid that Gintoli meant Little King. And so I was given a little wooden piece of art that said Gintoli, ... Little King. And I had it up above my bed, and it was like a point of pride. And then my dad and I, when I think I turned like 25, or I don't know, I was like 20 something, we took this trip to Italy, to our hometown, Ponte Buginese and Montecatini in Tuscany. And we go there, and they're like, Gintoli's no longer a special thing. The Gintoli's, it's like, you throw a piece of meatball, it hits a Gintoli. And so...
Which I believe is the custom there.
Yeah. And they're all like 5'2", it was adorable. Anyway, so we're like, guys, we finally, amongst all the Gintoli people, tell us, where did this become? What is the origin of Little King? They're like, what? We're like, how did Gintoli mean Little King? They're like, oh, no. It means he who can afford meat. So if you don't go looking too deep down your family tree. I think it's the moral of that story.
I am also Italian, and I have Gintoli cousins, and they're not called Gintoli. But my mom was like, "Hey, you know, you should really tell him that he's been pronouncing his name wrong the entire time." I was like, Mom, he's like in his 30s. I don't think I think that ship has sailed.
How do they say it?
Gintoli.
Got it. And in Italy they say Giuntoli.
Oh yeah, it is Gintoli.
Oh, there you go. So yeah. We screwed it up and we just went with it, much like Grimmish.
Taboni is my last name.
T-Bone. I'm also Italian.
Glad to have you.
It's pronounced Lee.
Yeah. The only hairless Italian. God bless you. You got all the good genes.
You know, my real last name is actually Valdez. Reggie Valdez. Yeah, and I started. When I first started, I was doing Broadway musicals, and I was cast, and then I started going out on auditions, like TV auditions. I was based in Chicago. Well, I was in Chicago doing a show called Miss Saigon, and I was there for like nine months.
You may have heard of it.
Then they would call me in for these like auditions amongst a sea of Hispanic people, and I was like, "Did you not see my picture?" And then I would get sent home like every single time. So I was like, "Oh God, what do I do?" So my agent said, "Why don't you? Is there somewhere in your lineage, you know, something that is not as Hispanic as Valdez?" And I took my grandparents' last name, and so then Reggie Lee was born. Reggie Lee.
Reggie Lee. Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it. Reggie Lee.
It's pronounced Roy's, like boys. But my father misspelt it when he came to Canada. I think it's like the rest of my family actually spells it differently. They spell it with a Y, and we're the only ones who spell it with an I, and so like it's often mispronounced, but it's just Roy's.
We hear Ruiz a lot for
Which
that.
is Portuguese, or like sometimes I'd walk into audition, people would like really make it very Hispanic and be like, Ruiz, and I'd be like, but yeah, it's a kind of unique name. I haven't seen a lot of.
And you're an Alexander.
I'm Alexander officially, first name, yeah.
But there's a pronunciation to your first name actually too that is somewhat different.
Well, no, but like in Russian and Slavic languages, Sasha is a diminutive for Alexander. Don't ask me how. It's always like, I know, I've had this conversation before. But it's like, Bill for William or something like that. But when you go there, it's perfectly normal. When you come here and try to explain what a diminutive is, and then
the eyes glass over.
I was like, it's my middle name, all right? It's my middle name. Leave it at that.
And then Sasha, I was calling you Sasha for a long time, but in Canada, it's Sasha.
In Commonwealth countries, they say, pasta and Sasha, and the A is
Pasta's really
different.
weird, yeah.
And here it's Sasha and pasta and all that. And I really don't care. I really don't care if people pronounce my name. But the crew is so desperate to please me about it. And halfway through the season, they're like, "Oh my God, we've been mispronouncing his name." And so now it's a 5-minute ordeal every time someone calls me. They're like, Sasha. And half the time they call me Silas anyway. They always screw our two names up.
Yeah, Silas, Sasha, Russell, Reggie.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, also Bitsy Bree.
Yeah.
That's another one.
They always confuse the two of them. And by the way, when I directed my episode, I confused the two of them. I'm like, Sasha. Did your brain goes into this other world? It was bizarre.
It's Sasha.
Yeah. Whatever you wanted to do.
Hours of production lost.
Here we go. Next question. Hey guys, so my question is about Diana. Hopefully the alarms won't go off again.
Yes. Don't.
We're watching
Don't wake
you.
her.
Just letting you know.
So I know that some amount of time is supposed to have passed between the seasons, but even so, she seems to have aged unnaturally fast. I'm wondering if you guys know whether that's going to be addressed, or if you have any theories, if it's not going to be addressed about why that happened.
It was always meant to indicate how magical and otherworldly she is.
I don't know if that's true. I think it had to do with the fact that the 4-year-old we cast did not like working.
There were practical reasons.
Go with someone a little older.
There are practical reasons, and then there's the storyline.
Yeah, exactly.
Which often kind of comes into place with the practical things.
Precisely.
I was telling people at the panel yesterday, the only reason Juliet really burned the trailer down is that we couldn't physically really shoot in there anymore. It was just too awkward with the crew and the cast, and it was too small. So they're like, Juliet burned it down. But
yeah, with Diana, we wanted her to have a magical property that would kind of accelerate the aging process. But as a production, we desperately needed her to be a little older and able to deliver lines, because otherwise you're dealing with a 3-year-old, and that's not fun.
we've had a series of babies get fired. Grim.
You'll never work in this town again.
Realize how big they grow when you're using a baby, and then 4 months later it's supposed to be a time cut, to an hour later, and now